Hi and a very warm welcome to lesson 18. And in today's lesson, we're going to be finishing off the chord section or sections to the importance of being idle, the Oasis tune that we began last week, using that swing time, strum pattern to go through the various different parts of that. Then I'm going to do a bit more scale work, just re-emphasising the importance of the alternate picking and just do a little bit more work on that. I'm going to introduce a new scale, perhaps musically the most important scale in the musical spectrum. That's the major scale, the full major scale, a little bit harder than the pentatonics that we've been playing over the previous weeks. And then I'm going to introduce you to a new technique called string bending. We're going to be learning how to bend a string to change the pitch of a note, and that's in preparation for the next lesson, when we'll be working on the solo to the importance of being idle, which uses some string bends, and that's going to be our first solo. And we're leading up to eventually working on our own solos and improvisation techniques, which is great fun to do. That's what we're leading up towards. Okay, so let's get straight on with the rhythm parts to the importance of being idle that we started last week. Now, the intro, if you remember on last lesson, I kind of simplified it down to 3 beats on the A minor, and the 4th beat on the E. Now the actual strumming pattern goes like this. So you can hear we've got 1 down stab on the A minor, but then now this gives me a great opportunity to explain triplets in swing time. And that second beat is split up into triplets, which are basically 3 equal strums. So we've got 1, 2 and a 3, 4, 1, 2 and a 3, 4, 1, 2 and a 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, triplets in swing time work because, if you remember on the previous lessons, I've said that when we're playing quavers, the quavers are split unequally. The first quaver is a long one, the second one's a short one. Like so. But what we could do, we could split those into 3 equal quavers, and they're written as it's coming up on your screen now. They're written as 3 quavers with a little 3 above to indicate triplets. And triplets are splitting the swung quavers into 3 equal triplets. And this is a great example of how that works. So the full intro goes like this. 1, 2 and a 3, 4, 1, 2 and a 3, 4, 1, 2 and a 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And if you remember, I sort of separated the last bar as just single down strums on the A minor, E, back to A. Okay, now just to sort of explain how I'm strumming the triplets in between. So we've got a down strum on the first beat, 1, and then 2 and a 3. So it's down, up, down. It's alternate but equal triplets, like I've said. Okay, following on from that then, we've got a 4-bar lead up to the verse just on the A minor, and it goes like this. Okay, now I'm playing it, it's a little bit sparser than what I'm playing, but I just want you to get used to that swing time, because it does play that rhythm as well, but it's sometimes mixed up a little bit. So we're going to keep it uniform, okay, and the timing is going to be 1, 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2 and 3 and 4, and 4 bars on the A minor. Like I said last lesson, it's a good opportunity to practice that swing time for as long as you need to. Then into the verse part, and it's a 4 chord section. Is it 4 or 5? 2, 3, 4, F major 7 to C, B7, E, Okay, so we've got a full bar on A minor with the same strumming pattern. 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and now we're changing that F major 7. 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and now if you notice from that A minor to the F major 7, I can leave my first finger where it is, change to the F major 7. Same to the C, I can leave my first finger where it is, just leave my second and third, up to the C shape. 2 and 3 and 4, and then we've got half a bar on B7, half a bar on E, and that change has cropped up many times over the previous lessons. B7, just 2 down strums on the B7, 2 down strums on the E, and that's played and repeated 4 times for the verse. Okay, and on with the chorus then. I'll play it through in its entirety and I'll break it down. Okay, so we've got beginning of the chorus, a D minor, just single down strums on the D minor to the A minor. Okay, now you can hear I'm cutting those chords off short. Now the technical term for that technique is staccato, which means short and sharp. So rather than playing, which is fine to start with, just getting used to the changes. But then to progress on from that, we want to try and cut those chords nice and dead. So there was 2 ways of doing that. I'm relaxing my chord pressure on my left hand, but I'm also muting the strings as soon as I've strummed with my right hand. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. That's 3 times round that chord sequence. Then we go to the F major 7, back into the swing time. Now it's 2 bars on the F major 7. 1 bar on G major, 4 bars on E major. 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so that's the separate sections broken down for you to practice. As always, practice each section so you get it absolutely, spot on as close as you can. Work along with the track as well. I always advocate listening to the song, getting used to the arrangement. I'm going to post the song arrangement and the parts itemised up on here as well, so you can see the order in which you're playing them. But it's also important to get used to the song and how the song's arranged in terms of the verses and the choruses, and then it does go back to the intro as well. And repeats the intro. If you're playing the rhythm over the solo or underneath the solo, the chords are exactly the same as for the chords for the verses. Okay, on to a little bit more scale right now, and all I want to do really is just re-emphasise what we were talking about last lesson in terms of when you alternate pick and when we down pick. Okay, so it's kind of important to, as I said last time, it's important to differentiate between the crotchet and the quaver picks, and to do that with the metronome's good as well. Obviously, increasing your tempo as and when you're comfortable, and also moving those scales into different positions around the neck to get used to the various different positions and the different way of playing in those positions as well. So I'm just going to quickly just re-emphasise each scale with the metronome and when we pick just down picks and when we alternate pick. And I'm going to separate, also it's also important to separate out both the pentatonic scales and the blues scales as separate entities. So practice them both as separate scales. A lot of times the trap that people fall into is to just practice the blues scale and not the minor pentatonic, which will trip you up eventually, because there's times when we can use the minor pentatonic and not the blues. So it's important to separate them out as well. Okay, so here we go. I've set the metronome to 60 beats per minute. And I'm very quickly just gonna run through how you should be practicing these scales. So and I'm going to separate them out in different positions as well. So the G minor pentatonic. So if we're picking on the beat, I'm just going to use down picks. And then when I want to double up in quavers, I'm going to use up and down picks. So we can practice that like so. Okay, and the blues scale, and I'm going to move that blues into A. So I played the minor pentatonic in the key of G there. I'm going to move it into A. You can quite easily play it in B, C, anywhere on the neck. Here we go again. Okay, so we can play them all in down picks, or we can alternate between the two, and I can play them all in alternate picking. When you're practicing, probably a good idea to get used to that alternate picking first with the up picking between on the offbeat, and then mix them up when you're comfortable. Remembering as far as you can to discipline your picking to alternate picking all the way. Just remembering as close as you can to keeping that picking to alternate picking all the way. So you should start on a down pick, and if your picking's gone right, it'll finish on a down pick as well. Try to avoid, as I said in previous lessons, to play two down picks when you're doubling up in the quavers, or two up picks when you're coming back. Okay, so as the next part of the lesson, we're going to be looking at the technique of string bending and changing the pitch of the note and how to do that. Now, I'm fully aware that this is a very electric guitar kind of specific technique, and it's going to be quite. If you're learning on acoustic, it's going to be quite difficult. But nevertheless, it is relevant in certain aspects to acoustic guitar. I'm going to be demonstrating that a little bit later, and we're going to towards the back end of the course, we're going to be branching off a little, so that if we've got kind of electric specific techniques, I'm going to be giving you some alternative techniques if you're learning on acoustic as well. So we're going to sort of branch slightly away and play certain specific things on electric and also certain specific things on acoustic to give you both experience on those different techniques. But for string bending today, I'm going to use the example of the A minor pentatonic now. The main note that we can bend on that minor pentatonic is the third string, 7th fret, where my third finger is now. And what I'm aiming to do when I bend the string, I'm changing the pitch of the note. But more importantly, I'm changing the pitch of the note to the next note in the scale. And that's the important rule of string bending, okay? We bend the string to pitch to the next note in the scale. And in this case, that's the note I'm aiming to pitch it to. Okay, now, what I'm doing here, I'm getting my first and second fingers behind my third finger, and then pushing the string. I'm pushing the string upwards, but also squeezing to keep that note ringing throughout the bend as well. Okay, so it's quite a difficult technique to get used to, and I'll explain the pitfalls in a little while. Okay, so I'm pushing that string. My first and second fingers behind. Doesn't matter where they are. They can be in the frets behind, or they can be all in the second fret. They're only there for support. Okay, and it's important to pitch that note to the exact pitch of the next note in the scale, which is there. So you can check that just by playing that next note. Now, what will happen to begin with? You might not pitch it quite high enough, and you can hear that's not quite. So you'd be surprised how far you've got to actually bend it. Then once you get used to that, might go a little bit too high. So again, the pitch is incorrect there. So it's accurately pitching that bend to hit that note within the next note in the scale. Now that's the most common string bend. There are lots of other string bends which we'll be getting to in later weeks, but for now, for this week, all I want you to do is practice that one particular bend. So move up the pentatonic scale. And when you get to that 7th fret on the A minor pentatonic scale, give that string a bend and practice pitching to the correct note. I'm using the A minor pentatonic scale because it's nice and central. The third string's obviously not as tight as the other strings, so it's a little bit easier position to bend there. And practice that. This is like I said before, it's to lead us in to the solo for the importance of being idle, which we're going to learn next lesson, which does feature string bends, and string bends is a integral part of electric guitar playing, also acoustic guitar playing, but particularly in electric guitar playing. So it's important to get used to that kind of technique. Okay, so string bending on an acoustic guitar then is a different feel altogether, different way of playing. You're not going to pitch that bend accurately to the note that I was explaining on the electric guitar, but nevertheless, it's still kind of a technique that you can use if you're playing kind of like some bluesy licks. Which we're going to get onto a bit later in the course. So I'm going to, if you're playing on acoustic, I'm going to give you a few little different positions to try, and it's more string bending. It's more for effect rather than actually pitching a note to a certain to a second note in the scale. So we can use the E minor pentatonic scale. And that top string there on the third fret, top string, you can practice bending that, but just to change the pitch of the note. No, we're not looking to bend it to a specific other note, because it's not really doable on acoustic guitar, but it still sounds effective. Likewise, that third string there, second fret, again, it's not possible to bend it to the next note in the scale, but still gives it a very bluesy feel. Okay, so just a couple of little options there, and even on the A minor pentatonic, or the blues, just changing that note slightly and the pitch of the note slightly does give it a nice little different sound there. Okay, and one more scale to learn then in this lesson, and we're going to learn the all-important major scale, which I'm going to kind of suggest to you that musically it's the most important scale because it does make the musical world tick. Everything revolves around the major scale eventually. So even though it's quite difficult to use, it is important to get to grips with the shape and the sound of that scale. It's the same major scale that we did earlier on, albeit it's in a different key. So it's the same sequence of notes. I think we did it in C major, just a single octave scale back when we first began those scales. I'm going to demonstrate this one as a B major at the 7th fret. Again, we can move it to any position, but I'm going to demonstrate it in B because it's nice and central. The frets aren't too wide and it's a little bit easier to get to grips with. We're going to keep to down picks all the way, nice and slow. Okay, now you notice I'm starting with my second finger on that root, on the B root, and that's because the first finger is taking care of the fret next door at the 6th fret, because I'm starting with my second, then to my 4th on the 9th fret, but then the scale comes back onto the 6th fret there, and indeed there's a lot of 6th fret notes. So my first finger is not taking care of the root because that'd leave it out of position then for the other notes within the scale. So I'm starting with the second finger on the 7th fret, to my 4th finger at the 9th, then to my first finger at the 6th, second finger 7, little finger 9, first finger 6, 3rd to 8th fret, little finger to 9th. That's the first octave. Okay, and we carry on the next string the same pattern, 1st, 3rd to 4th. Now on the next string we've just got 2nd to 4th again, 2nd to 4th, and 1st to 2nd on that top string. Back down, 2nd to 1st, 4th to 2nd, 4th to 3rd to 1st. Same on the next string, same pattern. This time 4th to 2nd to 1st, and to 4th to 2nd, back down when we started there. So it's quite a little complicated pattern. Hopefully you should recognise the sound of that major scale, and then if you go wrong, if you play a wrong note, you should recognise it and be able to alter it. So again, just nice and steady, just down picks all the way, really slow, get used to the pattern. Okay, don't rush it with the alternate picking, anything like that. Get used to the pattern of the notes first of all, and then we'll take it from there. Okay, so your practice schedule for this lesson should be beginning with your technical exercises. We've got a lot of technical stuff going on now. So scales, using the metronome, the new scales, the minor pentatonic and the blues, using the metronome wherever you can. Alternate picking as well, get that alternate picking going. We've got the new scale, the B major scale, to be introducing into those technical exercises. String bending technique, great technique for electric guitar playing, also for acoustic, as I've demonstrated there. So practice that, your string bending, and then on to the Oasis song, the chords and the rhythm patterns for the Oasis song. Enjoy, as always, have fun. I look forward to seeing you on the next lesson.